This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.6:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Niranjan Abesundara. A special mechanism would be introduced to call public servants for duty. The government says there is no change to the state policy on using organic fertilizer. 250 billion rupees spent to control COVID. The UNP leader says COVID pandemic should not be looked at from a political angle. 60 ambulances will be purchased for the Suez area service. Decentralization of consular services is underway. In world news, Iran's new president Ibrahim Raisi to be sworn in. Sports, Tokyo Olympics, Team USA beat Australia in the basketball semi-final to reach the gold medal game. State Minister Channa Jasamana says a special mechanism would be introduced to recalling of pregnant mothers and public servants for duty. The minister said Public Administration Ministry would issue a circular allowing pregnant mothers to work from home. He said it was also agreed to issue a circular allowing public servants to report for duty on a shift basis on the consent of the head of the institution and the recommendation of the Public Ministry Secretary. He told Parliament today that special discussion was held at the Finance Ministry presided by Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa on the COVID situation. President Chief Advisor Lalith Weeratunga said that state policy on the use of organic fertilizer has not been changed, although certain decisions were taken based on scientific data. He mentioned it during a media briefing today at the President's Media Centre. Replying to journalists, he said it is a challenge to encourage using organic fertilizer when the country has been using chemical fertilizer for decades. Only natural minerals with gelated plant nutrient will be imported. Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Udit Jayasinghe, said it is an essential factor to nourish soil. Using organic fertilizer is a new experience for many farmers. A mechanism has been prepared to monitor those activities weekly. Advice from experts in state universities and agriculture faculties have been obtained to do so. The support of the media organizations is expected. Finance Ministry Secretary S.R. Article emphasized that no action will be taken outside the policy decisions. Plans have been made to provide organic fertilizer needed in the areas based on the code numbers given to the farmers in relevant areas. Agriculture Ministry Director General Dr. John De Silva said testing of soil will commence next week. President's media spokesman Kindu Ratnayaka said that building a green social economic system should not be delayed, although there can be problems at the beginning. More than 50 billion rupees are spent annually on the chemical fertilizer subsidy. He pointed out the president has assured to pay the decreased amount if the harvest is reduced by taking into organic cultivations. State Minister Aditya Cabral said that the Finance Ministry so far has allocated more than 250 billion rupees for the vaccination program and to its related activities. He said in Parliament today that as a people-friendly government, the present administration is spending funds without any hesitation to protect lives. Mr. Cabral was replying to a question from MP Shanta Bandara about the government vaccination program. 112 billion rupees have been spent to import medical equipment from 2015-2019. He mentioned this as a reply to a question from MP Mohammed Muzamil. Mr. Nimal Siripala Disabas said that the Labour Ministry and Foreign Employment Bureau are giving their fullest support to provide airline facilities to bring down Sri Lankan workers from overseas. Ms. Nama Rajapaksa said that any sports person should follow discipline and ethics related to sports. He said in Parliament that attention should be paid on the problems in connection with the official Olympic dress. For the first time in history, a sportsperson who exceeded qualifying level was paid 3 million rupees, while 2 million rupees was paid to a sportsperson selected from the wild card method. The minister said the coaches were paid 1 million rupees each. All of them have been paid a daily allowance of $40, including other facilities. He emphasized the Paralympic team will also be provided with similar facilities and privileges. MP Rao Vikramasinghe said steps should be taken to prevent the spread of COVID mutations. He said that the cabinet should take over the COVID control program. Mr. Vikramasinghe said an expenditure account for emergency COVID treatment should be created. He said in Parliament this is a national question. It should not be looked at in a political angle. A supplementary estimate on recurrent and capital expenditure of the State Ministry of Primary Health Services, Pandemics and COVID Control was passed in Parliament today. Accordingly, 11,840 million rupees were approved as recurrent expenditure and 24 million rupees as capital expenditure. Leader of the House, Dinesh Guruvada, tabled it in Parliament. Taking part in the debate, State Minister Sudarshini Fernandes said the Primary Health Ministry is performing a huge task to control the COVID pandemic. Funds have been approved for the COVID fund to purchase 60 ambulances to Super Carrier service. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The program on decentralization of consular services within the purview of the Foreign Ministry is underway. Foreign Secretary Admiral Professor Janath Kolabage points out, in this program there is being conducted under the instructions and guidance of the Foreign Minister Dinesh Guruvada in accordance with the scheme by the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to bring public service to the village. Secretary Kolabage also pointed out that 3 regional consular officers in Kandy, Trincomalee and Kurunag districts have been dedicated to public service in the previous 10 months under the present government, and that preliminary action had been taken to establish 2 regional officers in Badulla and Ampara districts before the end of this year. The chairman of the Guru Sabha organization, Venerable Muruthattuwe Anarathera, points out that problems related to salary anomalies of teachers and principals have been there for a long time. He said all governments should be held responsible for the problems. However, he pointed out it is unfortunate that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has to bear the brunt of the burden. He said the future generations should be protected by finding solutions to the present problems. That was local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Minister of Health says that 1,841 patients who are being treated for COVID-19 have been discharged after completely recovering from the virus during the last 24 hours. This increases Sri Lanka's coronavirus recovery so far to 26,365, meaning 318,755 cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country, while 27,663 infected persons are currently under medical care. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. The Colombo Municipal Council say digital vaccination certificates will be issued on request for residents from Colombo 1 to 15. Same regional epidemiologist Dr. Dinu Guruge said those who want digital certificate must email both sides of the vaccination card, contact number and both sides NIC or passport to the epidicunitsme@gmail.com. The certificate will be sent by mail to the recipient. That came to in Watchlight. On to world news. Iran's new president Ibrahim Raisi to be sworn in. US says 50% of new cars will be zero emission by 2030. TikTok tests vanishing video stories feature. Iran's new president Ibrahim Raisi is to be sworn into office following his election victory in June. Mr. Raisi, a hardline clinic, succeeds Hassan Rouhani, seen in the West as relative moderate. It comes at a time of growing challenges for Iran, whose economy has been crippled by US-led sanctions. The US has set a target calling for half of all new vehicles sold in the country by 2030 to be zero emission. The models would be empowered by electricity or fuel cells. Administration of President Joe Biden announced the initiative as a part of his climate change measures for auto sector. The US says it will continue to allow new gasoline-powered cars, including hybrids. But to achieve the 2030 goal, it will increase the number of charging stations and strengthen fuel economy regulations. Video sharing platform TikTok is trialing a new vanishing clips feature, similar to functions on Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram. TikTok stories will allow users to see content posted by accounts they follow for 24 hours before they are deleted. It comes as WhatsApp rolls out a feature for users to post photos or videos that vanish after they are seen. Back to the headlines of the world news. Iran's new president Ibrahim Raisi to be sworn in. US says 50% of new cars will be zero emission by 2030. TikTok tests vanishing video stories feature. That was world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Win lakhs and lakhs with CIB Janajaya. 40% discount for your bills till 15th of August. 6 hand tractors at the Grand Row. CIB Janajaya.
The Energy Ministry has announced the map of blocks of the hydrocarbon exploration in its offshore. In the map, the ministry has outlined the blocks which have already been identified by hydrocarbon deposits and the ones on offer for exploration. The minister says 873 blocks, each with 225 square kilometers, have been mapped for identification by prospective investors for exploration and development. That is Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Win lakhs and lakhs with CIB Janajaya. 40% discount for your bills till 15th of August. 6 hand tractors at the Grand Row. CIB Janajaya.
On to sports news. Team USA recovered from a shaky start to beat Australia 97-78 and reached their fourth consecutive Olympic gold medal basketball game at Tokyo 2020. Australia had led by 15 points in the second quarter before the three-time defending champions launched a 34-point run to overturn the deficit. France and Slovenia await in the final. American sprint legend Carl Lewis says failure of the USA's 400 meters men's team to reach the final at Tokyo 2020 was a total embarrassment. United States quartet of Trevon Bromell, Fred Curley, Ronnie Baker and Trevon Gillespie were sixth in their heat with a time of 38.10 seconds. Ryan Cruiser beat his own Olympic record to defend his shot put title at Tokyo 2020 today. American managed a 23.3-meter throw on his final attempt in sweltering conditions at Olympic Stadium. Irish boxer Kelly Harrington has reached the women's light final at the Olympics after a 3-2 split decision win over Thailand's Thudapon Sesonde. Dublin Harrington, 8:31, repeated her 2018 World Championship final over the Thai fighter, although it was a desperately close contest in Tokyo. Britain's Galal Yafai will compete for gold after reaching the Olympic final with the relentless display against Kazakhstan Sakin Bisinov. The Birmingham fighter, competing in the 52-kilo flyweight division, was involved in one of the fights of Tokyo Games and edged a split decision. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Turkey, M. Rizvi Hassan, visited the Black Sea region of Turkey to explore areas and sectors that Sri Lanka could establish relations and to enhance trade, investment and tourism links. During the visit recently, Ambassador Hassan met with the President and the members of the Trade Chamber of Commerce of Sana Province and prominent business personalities in the province of Urdu. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by Ikra Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Sri Lanka Export Development Board, in collaboration with the Consulate General of Sri Lanka in Guangzhou and Department of Commerce of Fujian, successfully organized the Fujian-China-Sri Lanka Economic and Trade Forum and matchmaking event recently via video conference and webcast. The virtual event was attended by over 11,000 participants from China and Sri Lanka. That is economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by Ikra Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the Sabaragamuwa, Western and Central provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 20 millimeters, can be expected some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Mathura districts. Slow spells of showers will occur in the Northwestern province. Short and showers will also occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampane Particular district during the evening or night. Fairly strong winds can be expected in the western slopes of the Central Hills, North Central and Northwestern provinces, and in Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines of the news. A special mechanism will be introduced to call public servants for duty. The government says there is no change in the state policy on using organic fertilizer. 250 billion rupees spent to control COVID. UN leader says COVID pandemic should not be looked at from a political angle. 60 ambulances will be purchased for the Suez area service. Decentralization of consular services is underway. In world news, Iran new President Ibrahim Raisi to be sworn in. Sports news, Tokyo Olympics. Team USA beat Australia in the basketball semi-final, reached gold medal game. That is the news.